Okay, everybody, let's take a look at the lesson today. So the lesson starts on page 290. We do have a Mathia, and we're going to have to do a couple of things about the Mathia. But first of all, this problem's pretty easy. So first of all, to make the first deposit on a trip, Alan's total sales needs to be at least $1,100. So we set an inequality, right? So Alan's still trying to earn money to go on a trip. He's still selling popcorn at $3.75, okay? And he's given 25. So this came from yesterday. We got that problem from yesterday. We talked about Alan trying to create money to go on a camping trip, okay? So then we're going back to this problem. So we set it up. He wants to be greater than or equal to $1,100 in order to go on this trip, okay? So we solve it, go all the way down, and we get 286.666. Well, that is not a very good answer because you can't have 0.66 flowers or popcorn, and so then we rounded it to 287, okay? On a number line, if we want to graph that on a number line, it would just look like this. You'd have your number line. We'd have a 286, 287, and we would start right at 207, close circle, and we would shade up that way, okay? Now, then what's the greatest number of boxes Alan could sell and still not make more than 600? So we set it less than 600 because we're going to go over that, and we solved it. Okay, 153.3, round that to 153 boxes. 153 boxes would be okay, and that would work, okay? And then at least how many boxes does Alan have to sell make 15,000 sales? So it's got to make more than that. So we solve that. We get a decimal, so we round that up to 394 boxes. And so then the work is the same as y equals ax plus b. The only thing you have to be is careful of the sign, whether the inequality sign is going to be greater than or less than. Okay, then we talked about another feature. We talked about when you divide or multiply by a negative. So there is a rule. And I showed the kids when we start out with a question like this. We've got negative x is greater than or equal to 3. Hold on, let me back this up. Sorry, my bad. So we start out with, first of all, x is greater than or equal to 3. Solid dot. We shade it. And I said, well, give me some answers. And the kids did. So 10 will work, 17 will work, 5 will work. All of those work. And then we shaded it, okay? But 2 will not work because 2 is not greater than or equal to 3. So then we looked at the next question. This was a little bit tricky. I said, give me answers. And they said, well, how about 4? 4 doesn't work. So then they said, what about negative 4? So we put negative 4 in, and a negative 4 made a positive 4, and that worked. So these negative values actually work. So these negative values are shifted this way. So everything less than or equal to negative 3 worked. So then we looked at the sign. If we solve for x, divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1, we have a problem. X is greater than negative 3. That would be all of these answers. We don't want those answers. We want these answers. So then, there's a rule. When you multiply or divide by a negative, you turn the inequality sign. So what we really want is x to be less than or equal to negative 3. So we totally changed the answer. We went from here to this answer. And then it works. So I'll say it again. What do we do? The rule is when you divide or multiply by a negative, turn the sign. Okay? So we did it again. We multiply by negative 1, negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1x. 3 times negative 1 is a negative 3. But we multiply by a negative, so we turn the sign. Now this is a correct answer to what we had over here. So I took any old problem. We solved with minus 10, minus 10. We got 4. Divided by a negative 2, but since we divided by a negative, we turn the sign. So x is greater than, see I turned the sign because I divided by a negative 2, and we get all of these answers, okay? And then I took a look at the last example, we're solving for x. So I went minus 5, and I got 2. But now I'm going to multiply by negative 3. So if I multiply by a negative number, I turn the sign. So I turn the sign here. If x is less than or equal to negative 6, and I could graph that. And that's what I have for the day. We had a Mathia on solving linear inequalities. Okay, that's it for the day.